Jesus, oh, make una come and see, oh. Now Maggots food this plenty jollof rice. Make una.
He waited 2 years to marry her, then chose her younger sister. What started as a long-distance love story turned into betrayal, heartbreak, and a wedding day no one could forget. When the food at the ceremony mysteriously turned to maggots, a dark truth came to light. Some wounds don't go unanswered. This emotionally charged story reveals how broken promises, family betrayal, and forgiveness collide, and why peace sometimes comes only after justice is served. A powerful lesson about love, loyalty, and the unseen consequences of our choices awaits you.
I love you so much, baby boo, my one and only. I can't wait to see you so we can get married together.
Hannah sat on the edge of her bed, her back resting against the wall, her legs pulled close to her chest. The room was quiet except for the faint hum of the ceiling fan and the soft glow of her phone lighting up her face. On the screen was a familiar name. Daniel. Her thumb hovered over the message thread, scrolling slowly, carefully, like someone walking through memories they were afraid to disturb. 2 years. 2 long years of messages, voice notes, video calls, missed calls, promises, apologies, laughter and tears. 2 years of loving a man who lived thousands of miles away in Europe, but had made her believe distance was only a test of true love. December is almost here, Hannah whispered to herself, a small smile forming on her lips. You're finally coming home. She could still remember the way Daniel had said it during their last video call. I'm done with Europe, Hannah. I've made enough money. I want to come home, marry you properly, and start my life with you. She had believed him, not because she was foolish, but because Daniel had never sounded more certain. The door creaked open, and Naomi, her roommate, walked in carrying a plate of jollof rice and fried plantain.
Why are you laughing at your phone? I know it's because of Daniel.
She took one look at Hannah's face and shook her head. You're smiling at that phone again like someone who just won the lottery, Naomi said, dropping onto the chair. Let me guess. Daniel. Hannah laughed softly. You already know now. Don't pretend. Naomi scooped a spoonful of rice into her mouth. Hannah, I've known since the ancestors were young. That man has been promising you marriage since forever. That's not true, Hannah replied quickly. Daniel is different. He's not like those men you hear stories about. He's serious. He sends me money every month. He calls me every weekend. He includes me in his plans. Naomi chewed slowly, then sighed. I've heard this song before. Men abroad can talk. They will promise you heaven and earth, then come back home and marry someone else they've been seeing quietly. Not Daniel, Hannah said with confidence. You'll see. December is almost here. Naomi raised her hands in surrender. Okay, my sister. I hope your faith will not disgrace you. Hannah smiled again, but deep down she prayed Naomi was wrong. The day Daniel returned, the whole neighborhood felt different. Children ran through the dusty road, chasing cars and shouting excitedly. Music blasted from a black SUV as it drove slowly into the compound, drawing attention from every direction. Under the big mango tree sat Mr. Andrew Cole, Hannah's father, dressed in his finest traditional outfit. He adjusted his cap nervously, pride shining in his eyes. For weeks, he had been telling anyone who cared to listen that his daughter's husband-to-be was a successful businessman from Europe. The SUV stopped. Daniel stepped out wearing dark sunglasses, a fitted suit, and polished shoes that reflected the sunlight. He looked every inch like a man who had made it. In his hands were expensive-looking bags filled with gifts. My son. Mr. Cole stood up immediately. You are welcome. You are highly welcome to our home. Daniel smiled politely and shook his hand. Thank you, sir. It's good to finally be here. Inside the house, Hannah paced back and forth. She had changed her dress twice already. Her hair was neatly done, her makeup carefully applied, yet her hands would not stop shaking. You need to relax, Lily said, laughing as she leaned against the doorframe. You're walking like someone waiting to be called for an exam. Hannah sighed. You don't understand. What if he doesn't like me in person? What if I look different from how I look on camera? Lily rolled her eyes playfully. Please. You look beautiful. Stop worrying like an old woman. Lily was 19, full of life, with smooth dark skin and bright, curious eyes. She had a way of lighting up any room she entered without trying. When Hannah finally stepped outside, her heart was pounding. Daniel looked up. Hannah, he said, standing up and pulling her into a brief hug. Too brief. Welcome home, she said softly. I've missed you so much. Yes, Daniel replied. I've missed you too. But before she could say anything else, he turned back to her father. Sir, as I was saying earlier, I'm ready to begin the marriage process. I want to do everything properly. Mr. Cole's face lit up. That is very good. Very good. We will arrange meetings with the elders. Lily, he called out, bring drinks for our visitor. Lily walked out with a tray of cold drinks, humming quietly. The moment Daniel's eyes landed on her, something changed. His gaze lingered longer than necessary, following her movements, the way she walked, the way she smiled. Good afternoon, sir, Lily said respectfully. Welcome. Daniel cleared his throat. Thank you. You're very kind. Hannah noticed the look but brushed it aside. He's just surprised, she told herself. She was still a child when he left. That evening, laughter filled the compound. Stories were shared. Old jokes were told. At some point, Daniel stepped aside, pretending to take an important phone call. He walked toward the back where Lily was washing dishes. Lily, he called softly. He turned surprised. Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you something, he said, lowering his voice. Can I have your phone number? I want to send you something small. A thank you gift for taking care of your sister. Lily hesitated. Something about the request felt strange, but she didn't want to appear rude. Okay, she said quietly and gave him her number. That was the moment everything began to shift. From that night, Daniel started calling Lily often. First it was harmless. How was school today? Did you eat? How is your sister? But slowly the calls became longer, more personal. Lily found herself laughing too much, thinking about him when she shouldn't, feeling guilty for enjoying the attention. Meanwhile, Hannah felt the distance growing. Daniel no longer called as often. When she visited him at the hotel, he was always distracted. Is everything okay? She asked one afternoon. You seem different. I'm just busy, he replied. Business stress. She nodded, choosing trust over doubt. But deep inside, her heart felt uneasy. And somewhere within the quiet walls of her spirit, something ancient stirred. Silent, watchful, waiting. Unseen. Unprovoked. Now. At first, Hannah tried to silence the voice in her head. You're overthinking, she told herself every morning. Long distance has been hard. He just needs time to adjust. But the signs were no longer subtle. Daniel stopped calling at night. When he did, the conversations were short and rushed. He no longer asked about her day with the same interest. His laughter felt forced, his attention divided. Yet with Lily, things were moving in the opposite direction. Daniel called her every day, sometimes twice. At first, Lily told herself it was harmless. He was about to be her brother-in-law. He was just being friendly. How are your studies going today? Daniel would ask. I'm fine, Lily would reply, trying to sound normal. Just tired. You work too hard, he said once. You remind me of myself when I was younger. Those words stayed with her longer than they should have. Soon the calls stretched into late evenings. Daniel started sharing stories about Europe, his struggles, his loneliness. He spoke in a softer tone, one that made Lily feel special, chosen. One night, after hanging up, Lily stared at her phone for a long time. This is wrong, she whispered. This is my sister's man. But the calls continued. Hannah noticed everything. The way Daniel avoided eye contact. The way he checked his phone constantly. The way he seemed irritated whenever she asked about wedding plans. One afternoon, she visited him unexpectedly at the hotel. As she entered the lobby, she saw him standing near the window, smiling at his phone. That smile used to belong to her. "Hannah," Daniel said quickly, slipping the phone into his pocket. "You didn't tell me you were coming." "I wanted to surprise you," she replied, forcing a smile. "But it looks like I interrupted something." No, he said. "Just work messages." They sat in silence for a few seconds. "Daniel," she finally said, her voice gentle, "did I do something wrong?" He sighed. "Why do you always think something is wrong?" "Because I can feel it," she said. "You're not the same." He looked away. "I'm just under pressure." Hannah nodded again, swallowing her doubts. Lily's guilt began to eat at her. She avoided Hannah's eyes. She stayed in her room more often. At night, she prayed for strength, but when Daniel's name appeared on her phone, her heart raced. One evening he said something that changed everything. "I wish I met you before," Daniel said quietly over the phone. Lily froze. "What do you mean?" "I mean, sometimes life doesn't follow the right order," he replied. "Feelings don't ask for permission." Her hands trembled. "You shouldn't say things like this." "I know," he said. "But I can't lie to myself anymore." That night, Lily cried herself to sleep. 2 weeks later, Daniel asked Hannah to meet him at a restaurant. She dressed carefully, hope fluttering in her chest. Maybe this is it, she thought. Maybe he wants to fix things. When she arrived, Daniel didn't smile. "Hannah, sit down," he said. "We need to talk." Her heart sank. "What's wrong?" she asked. He took a deep breath. "I can't do this anymore." "Do what?" "Pretend," he said flatly. "I'm not in love with you anymore." The words hit her like cold water. "What are you saying?" she whispered. "My feelings have changed," he continued. "I've fallen in love with someone else." Her hands shook. "Who?" He hesitated, then spoke. "Lily." The world went silent. "My sister?" Hannah asked, her voice barely audible. "You mean my younger sister?" "I didn't plan it," Daniel said quickly. "It just happened." Hannah stood up slowly, her legs weak. "You are telling me that after 2 years, after meeting my father, after promising me marriage, you chose my own sister?" "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't want to lie anymore." Tears streamed down her face. "You didn't just break my heart. You destroyed my family." She walked out of the restaurant sobbing. Home, chaos followed. Mr. Cole was furious. "This is shameful," he shouted. "Lily, how could you betray your own sister?" "I didn't plan it," Lily cried. "I didn't steal him. He said he doesn't love Hannah anymore." "That doesn't make it right," her father yelled. But Daniel stood firm. He announced his intention to marry Lily. The community whispered. Friends judged. Hannah locked herself in her room for days, unable to eat or sleep. Naomi stayed by her side. "That man is heartless," Naomi said angrily. "And your sister, this pain is too much." After 3 days, Hannah packed her bags. "I can't stay here," she said quietly. "Not like this." She left without looking back. As the door closed behind her, something unseen followed, silent, ancient, and awake, waiting. 6 months passed, but the wound Hannah left behind never truly healed. Life continued in the village, yet her absence was loud. Her room remained untouched, her laughter missing from family gatherings. Mr. Cole aged visibly, weighed down by shame and regret. He tried calling Hannah many times, but she rarely picked up. When she did, her voice was polite, distant, no anger, no warmth. Daniel and Lily, however, moved forward as if nothing sacred had been broken. At first, the community whispered behind their backs. Some elders shook their heads. Others warned that relationships built on betrayal never ended well. But Daniel had money, confidence, and influence. Slowly, resistance faded. Wedding plans began. The ceremony was set to be grand, expensive decorations, loud music, and food prepared in abundance. Daniel wanted to prove something, perhaps to the village, perhaps to himself. Lily threw herself into the preparations, convincing herself that love had justified everything. This marriage will silence everyone, she told herself. Once they see how happy we are, they'll understand. Yet at night, she sometimes woke up with a tight chest, haunted by Hannah's face. Quiet, wounded, disappointed. The wedding day arrived with bright sunshine. The village hall was transformed. White and gold decorations draped the walls. Chairs were neatly arranged. The DJ tested speakers, and music filled the air. Guests arrived from neighboring towns dressed in their finest clothes. Daniel stood tall in his suit, smiling confidently. Lily looked beautiful in her wedding dress, but beneath her smile was a strange unease she couldn't explain. As the ceremony concluded, cheers erupted. "Bring the food!" someone shouted joyfully. Large pots were carried out. Jollof rice, fried rice, soups, grilled meat, chicken, salads. The aroma filled the hall. Plates were arranged. Guests lined up eagerly. Then it happened.
Jesus, oh! Make una come and see, oh! Na Maggots food this plenty jollof rice. Make una...
A woman serving rice screamed, "Ah! Come and see this!" People rushed forward. The rice was moving. Fat, white maggots crawled through the grains, wriggling in every direction. "Jesus!" someone shouted. Another guest lifted a piece of chicken and dropped it immediately. The meat was rotten, crawling with the same creatures, releasing a foul smell. Panic spread. Check the soup. The salad too. What about the drinks? One by one, everything was ruined. The food that had been freshly prepared that morning was completely spoiled, alive with maggots. Bottles of soft drinks, when opened, released sour liquid instead of sweetness. Guests screamed. Some ran outside. Others covered their mouths in shock. "This is not normal," an old woman cried. "This is spiritual." Within minutes, the hall was empty. The wedding collapsed in disgrace. Daniel stood frozen, staring at the pots, his heart pounding. Lily began to cry uncontrollably. That night, fear replaced pride. Sleep refused to come. Daniel left before sunrise. He did not tell Lily where he was going. He did not leave a note. For the first time in a long while, he was not thinking about pride or appearances. Fear and regret pushed him forward like invisible hands. After hours on the road, he stood in front of a modest apartment building in the city. This was the address he had obtained after much effort. Hannah's new home. His heart pounded as he dialed her number. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. He sent a message. "Hannah, please. I'm outside. I just need 5 minutes. I'm begging you." Inside the apartment, Hannah sat quietly on the couch while Naomi made tea in the kitchen. "Is that Daniel calling you again?" Naomi asked sharply. "Yes," Hannah replied, her voice calm. "He says he's outside." "Don't open that door," Naomi said immediately. "That man has caused enough damage." Hannah closed her eyes for a moment. Something within her stirred. Not anger, not love, but clarity. "I need to face him," she said. "Not for him. For me." She opened the door. Daniel stood there looking broken. His clothes were wrinkled. His eyes were red and swollen. The confident man who once walked into her family compound was gone. The moment he saw her, he dropped to his knees. "Hannah," he cried. "Please forgive me." Neighbors slowed their steps. Some stopped completely, watching in silence. "I wronged you," Daniel continued, his voice shaking. "I lied to you. I betrayed you in the worst way. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm begging." Tears streamed down his face as he bowed his head to the ground. Hannah looked at him quietly. For a long moment she said nothing. Finally she spoke. "Stand up, Daniel." He looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. "I forgive you," she said calmly. "Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." Daniel broke down completely. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you. There is nothing left between us, Hannah continued. I release you. Go and live your life. Daniel stood, nodded repeatedly, and walked away without looking back. As the door closed, Hannah exhaled deeply. Naomi hugged her tightly. You're free now. And she truly was. Time passed. Hannah focused on herself, her career, her growth, her healing. Slowly, laughter returned. Confidence replaced pain. 1 year later, she met Michael Reed. Michael was kind, steady, and respectful. He listened. He showed up. He loved her without confusion or secrecy. When he proposed under soft lights in a quiet garden, Hannah said yes with certainty. Their wedding was simple, joyful, and full of peace. As Hannah danced with her husband, she felt no bitterness, only gratitude for the journey that led her there. Daniel and Lily heard about the wedding from afar. Daniel felt regret. Lily felt silence. Some lessons arrive gently. Others arrive loudly. And some arrive only after we choose forgiveness. The end.